And welcome back to Tiempo. We are turning our focus to the Latin film industry and the premiere of a new movie called La Soga. It is a crime story and a love story, and two of its stars are joining us now. First, Manny Perez, who also produced La Soga, and Denise Quiñones, who is a former Miss Universe. Welcome to both of you. Thanks so much for coming in. We really appreciate it.
Thank
you.
So,
Manny, this is your baby. Tell me a little bit more about what the film is about.
Well, La Soga, you know, is a very personal story for me. It's based on true events that happened in my country, the Dominican Republic. It's about a man who lives in a corrupted world, and he's trying to get revenge for something that happened to his father. In trying to get revenge, he sort of finds his soul, which he's been missing for 20 years, which is basically his conscience. His father got killed by a deported drug dealer, and basically his life is, I'm gonna get justice or find my revenge, and in it he finds his soul.
You wrote the film. You were telling me it took about 10 years from beginning to end to now.
Exactly.
To get this thing on the screen. Tell me a little, what were the seeds of creativity for you? Because some of it is based on some life-altering events for you.
Exactly. Well, the reason why I say it's personal, you know, the event that sort of started it all, I went to the Dominican Republic on vacation. A friend of mine who we grew up together, we both came to the United States. I became an actor, he became a drug dealer. He got deported, went to DR and started doing crimes out there. Somehow these deportees were taking over the country. They thought they were above the law there. So the government set up these death squads, if you want to call them, to take care of these dudes, take them out. Basically, when I was on vacation, one of these death squads, police guys, they're called sicario in Spanish, police guys who have license to kill, came into my hometown, went into my friend's house, knocked on the door. The mom was begging, please don't take my son away. He went inside, grabbed my friend by the hair, brought him to the middle of the park, took out his gun, shot him in the head. My friend dropped. He took the body, put it in the back of his pickup truck that had about 50 bullet holes.
Wow.
And then I said, who is that monster? What right does he have? So then I found out like these guys have license to kill by the government at that time. And so I decided to, as a writer, to basically find this monster and give this monster a heart. So at the beginning of the film, you sort of hate the character. At the end, you sort of fall in love with him. And that's the beautiful journey that the film takes you. And I feel that's what grabs people so far.
Your character is pretty hardcore. Was it tough for you as an actor to endure and portray such a harsh character?
Well, you know what's funny? Since every role that I've ever played in films, I've always played the bad guy. Always the stereotypical bad guy. So in a way, I take the stereotypical bad guy and I try to find a heart to them and make sure that somehow you sort of care for them and what they do. So that's what I sort of did with this character. And plus, I was running around with him for 10 years, so I already knew what to do with him prior to me getting involved in the acting. And it's sort of, the writing was first, the producing, and then the acting came last. So that's how I sort of worked it in my mind, and it worked out.
Denise, you played Jenny, the love interest, the beautiful love interest in this film. Tell me a little bit about your character.
Well, Jenny, I see her as the light of the movie, el respiro, where you kind of breathe, the breather in the movie, because you see it in such a powerful drama. It's so crude and so real, and it presents so many different difficult situations that in the society in the Dominican Republic, but also a pretty universal theme: corruption, drugs, and killings, and all this stuff. And then Jenny, she is so tender, so sweet, and she kind of brings La Soga, or reconnects La Soga to this part of himself that he had when he was a little kid. We both knew each other when we were little, and we had this like pure, innocent connection. And then Jenny goes to New York. She was raised here, and then goes back after 20 years and reconnects with him, and kind of helps him to find this part of himself that he lost.
What I was so fascinated in reading about you, Denise, is that this film is your film acting debut in a major film. So what is it like for someone who's Miss Universe to this major transformation in your career? And what was it like on the first day of filming for you? To walking on set and be like, I made it.
Yeah, well, I don't know, it was kind of like, it was very natural. It felt really natural, very easy in a way. I've been doing theater here in New York for the past 6 years, so that's my first passion, and now I'm starting into films. But in terms acting-wise, it was those the characters that are difficult, and you have to kind of study different angles to get to the heart of the character. And then there are other characters that just come to you very easily. You barely have to do anything at all. So Jenny was kind of like that for me, and it was just a great experience in shooting in Santiago, which is beautiful, and the people there. So overall, it was just great. I really loved it.
Manny, how was it working with her?
Well, to me, I've always said that, you know, first of all, she's a raw talent, blessing to have on set. And the character, and I've said this many times, that her character is this guy's clean conscience at one point or another that came back to 20 years later, and that's what makes him come out of this darkness. And I feel like, not Jenny, but Denise in real life has this sort of angelic thing about her, that when she smiles, she sort of be like, oh my God, I'm falling for her. And I feel like the character brings that, you know, brings it on, and I feel like that's a necessity to help my character come out of this darkness.
Well, that's quite a compliment for you. Angelic like and everything.
He keeps saying it in all the interviews. I'm like, okay.
No, but it's so true, though.
I'm believing it now.
And the funny thing is, you know, I auditioned all these other actresses, friend of mine, who were dying to do the film, and they're like, I want to do it. But they didn't have that thing, you know, that natural thing where you can't learn it, you can't act it, you have to just have it. And somehow she has it, and I think that's the plus of the blessing that I feel like she brought to the character and to the film.
Well, we're going to continue to talk about La Soga much more right after this quick break. We'll be right back. And welcome back. We're talking about the movie La Soga with its actors Denise Quiñones and Manny Perez. Thanks again for staying around. We appreciate it. Now, Manny, you wrote and produced and starred in this movie. It takes place in the Dominican Republic and New York.
Yes.
I would imagine it was a priority for you to shoot in the Dominican Republic versus someplace in the United States that looks like the DR, correct?
Well, let me tell you this, you know, when we were trying to raise money, we got this big offer to shoot the film in New Orleans. And I'm like, man, how can we get Dominicans out of New Orleans? I feel like, you know, Dominican Republic is a beautiful spot, especially my hometown. The film is amazing. Plus, it took place in my hometown, the incident that started this whole thing. I wanted to shoot it where it started. Plus, it's just cheaper to shoot it in DR than in the United States in regards to money. We just didn't have enough. So, you know, we got local help in my family's houses. We shot in the local butcher house. It was really like a very family-oriented set, no?
Yeah, and it's almost, when you see the movie, the DR is almost like another character in the movie.
Exactly.
It's beautiful to watch. Yeah.
The colors, the vivid colors, everything about it is very rare. You can't create that on another country, on another set. It's specific to the Dominican Republic.
What was it like shooting in your hometown?
It was so funny. Well, you know, most of the extras are local guys who are not actors. And the kid, there's a child that plays me as a child. He's just, to me, he steals the film. And he's not an actor. He's just my neighbor who said, hey, I can audition for you, and he stole the film for me, which is beautiful, you know. Very excited.
The film is getting a lot of great buzz. It's already won several awards, including the Best Film in the Dominican Republic Global Festival. And it's the first film ever to debut at the Toronto Film Festival, first Dominican film to debut at the Toronto Film Festival. So considering that this is your baby, you must be feeling awfully proud.
Well, you know what's funny? I am proud, but I am nervous at the same time because I feel that if it fails, they're all going to blame Manny. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. Plus, I also got to say that Josh Crook, the director, who's a great friend of mine, did an amazing job. Without him, this would not be possible. So I don't want to take all the credit because really he's to me, one of the best directors I've ever worked with in my life. Another thing I want to add about the film is that even though we shot in the Dominican Republic and the incident happened in the Dominican Republic, when we did test screenings of it, we invited people from different countries, third world countries, like Mexican, Colombians, Chinese, from Africa, and they said, listen, what's happening there happened also in my country. So it's a very universal theme, corruption. It's not just a Dominican thing, it's a world thing. So that's the beauty of the film. Everybody touches
sense, yeah.
Quickly, talk about passions. You're a former Miss Universe. You've gone into acting. You produced, acted, you write. So what is your passion now in this? Is it the writing? Is it the producing? Is it the acting? Is it being in the pageants?
Oh, for me, is acting, singing, and dancing. Those are my three things. And I'm rehearsing right now at Chicago. They're doing a production of it in DR, in the Dominican Republic. So I get to do the three things that I love. But definitely those three things are my passion.
Well, to me, my passion has always been my acting. And I guess the reason why I write these things, I want to sort of write stuff for myself. Because I've always been tired of sick and playing the bad guy and always never the lead. So this chance opens the doors for me to create my own world.
Well, we really appreciate you both coming in and chatting with us. Best of luck with the film.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we thank you for being with us this morning. If you missed any part of our show, you can watch it on 7online.com. This wraps up another edition of Tiempo. I'm Liz Cho. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your weekend.